Welcome everyone to this webinar. My name is Patrick.
And I'm Angelika.
This is the first of several videos in which we want to talk about the topic of relationship. Now, we're going to cover a variety of topics within the relationship arena. Some of them are like emotional triggers in relationships and also getting emotionally hijacked.
Another topic is our needs, how to connect with them, how to express them. And that brings us or leads us into giving and receiving in relationships.
Yes, and another one will be the different stages and phases in relationships we are in. You know, they are changing over time. And we're going to discuss how we can grow together in the same direction.
Another interesting topic are the 5 love languages, because we all have different ways of expressing affection to each other.
Which is really interesting because we do express in different ways and not necessarily the same ways, right?
Absolutely.
Now, another interesting topic is the traumas. You know, we accumulating traumas over time, and we all have, you know, some mild or strong traumas. And they affect us. They affect us also in our relationship. We can bring them into the relationship or not. So we're going to uncover this topic as well.
Another topic we want to talk about is jealousy and other fears and what to do about that, how to help our partner in that situation.
And in order to go deeper, to be able to talk about all these topics, we need to know about the 6 levels of conversation. So we're going to uncover that topic to see what is that all about.
Yeah, I look forward to unpacking that. One of my favorite topics is what our partner mirrors for us and what we want to do with those mirrors, because other people reflect to us what we think, what we feel, what we believe, and how much we love ourselves.
Exactly. So important to know how to love ourselves. But today, we want to introduce ourselves and talk about the basic concept for relationship. The relationship as a third entity. We'll uncover that later. Angelika and I are really passionate about creating thriving relationships. So let's first all define a bit, what is a thriving relationship?
One aspect for me is that both partners are happy, are content, and they feel safe with each other. And that's not to be confused with being bored with each other, but safe enough to grow with each other.
Exactly. And another important way of defining thriving relationship for me is having a sense of fulfillment, feeling empowered and supported by our partner.
And both people need to be able to be their best or most authentic selves in a relationship.
And both can allow to be the best possible version of themselves and show up that way.
Right. So what I want to emphasize, though, is that a thriving relationship means putting in the work.
Oh, yeah. Without that, forget it. So we should also talk a little bit about ourselves, right? Who we are and why we both feeling so passionate about relationship, actually personal relationships as well as working relationships.
Yeah, and we've both been in this field for quite a while, haven't we? You for 25 years or so, I believe, and I've been in it for 14, 15 years. So how would you describe what you do?
Well, you know, I've been in a soft skills and personal growth trainer for corporations as well as individual since 1993. And I have added a few more skills along the way. So always trying to grow, to learn more in order to bring more to my clients. So for instance, I'm a certified business and life enhancement coach. I'm certified also in emotional intelligence, in trauma resolutions. I also really think communication skills is important, and I also dealing with stress management. I have a variety of tools with that, with leadership and much more. What about you, Angelika?
Well, I've been a personal development coach for 14 years, like I said, and I specialize in subconscious belief changes and in relationships. That's the area I feel really passionate about. And I work with individuals, I work with couples. So that could be in person, that could be over Skype, that could be on the phone. And I use many different tools and techniques to help my clients either reprogram their subconscious beliefs or improve their relationships. And just like you, I've continued to learn over the years, and my toolbox is constantly growing.
Yes.
But you're also an author, aren't you, Patrick? Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, I am. I wrote a book. It was an exciting time, I have to say. I wrote a book in 2007, and it's called Be Different, Be You. Well, the purpose is to really come a little bit out of the box, and to help people to tap into their greatness, because we're a little bit too conditioned by our environment, education, and so on. So that was the purpose of that book, is to help people to make a difference in their life, to connect with their deeper self. But I hear that you're working on a book too as well, right, Angelika?
Yes, I've been writing articles since 2012, and there must be close to 200 articles on my website.
My goodness.
Yeah, constantly writing. That's relaxation for me. And I am currently working through those articles, through those blogs, to filter out the best ones for a relationship book.
That's great. Yeah, that little booklet what we're going to put together as well, right? That's also something we're both working on. Create that relationship booklet that you will be able to get for yourself and get some tips and really good information in it.
Right. So maybe because you're bringing that up, we need to mention that this is connected to the personal development app. That's a technology we're both getting into, right? So independent from our physical books that we have this little booklet that we're writing together called a tracker book, and people can actually track where, as they're passing that book on to the next person, to their friend, to their relative, where that book goes. And that's all having fun on that app that we're going to be part of.
Yes, and that app is actually something you can download right away. It's free. You have access to a lot of information from various speakers. So I encourage you to find it, the PDA app. All right. Well, we both feel really passionate about the importance of relationships, and we see a close connection between health and happiness and our personal and professional relationships.
Yeah, that's why we're really excited to team up to bring you different relationship topics online, and in 2019 also workshops in person.
Yes, and we are going to offer these workshops in North America, in Europe, and we're happy to travel wherever you are.
Absolutely. So we want to share what has worked for us and for our clients, but at the same time, we're very much aware, I think both of us, that we continue to be students in our own relationships. And all the techniques and tools and processes that I teach my clients, and we both are going to teach in these workshops, are tested out. I have used myself these tools or techniques at some point in my life with a partner or with one of my daughters who are young adults today. And of course, there's also other relationships which are important to me. I still have my father around, my mom passed, and I have two sisters, I've got nieces and a nephew, and I've developed close relationships with them, which wasn't always the case. It was really a result of the work that I did using the processes and tools that I teach. So I'm mentioning this because I often have clients who believe that their family relationships are just doomed to be terrible or painful or hurtful. But I know from my own experience that with some work, any relationship can be shifted. And very often other people are just simply mirroring to us what's going on inside. We get triggered or emotionally activated. So one of the keys to improving the relationship is perhaps to stop wanting to change the other person, instead doing our own work and clearing out our own triggers.
Totally. And as you said before, walking our talk. So we're not here to teach you only things. We are practicing, we're using it, we're helping people, it's on the move. And we have lots in common for sure. So one thing is that we have also in common is that we both have a little accent. Me being from Switzerland originally, but feeling more like a world citizen.
Yes, I think that applies to both of us, feeling like a world citizen. I've lived on 4 different continents during my life. I've lived in Africa and Europe and in Asia, and the last 17 years here in North America and Canada. But I know you've moved around much more than I have. Tell us
But
a little bit about that.
yeah, it's so funny because we haven't met in all these continents where we were both at the same time. So we had to wait until we are both in Canada to meet.
That's right.
Well, I've been fascinated by mankind since a very young age. That brought me to travel a lot. I counted the other day, it was about 56 countries I traveled to, but I lived in 8 countries on 4 different continents, a little bit similar to you.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yes. So this experience shaped me and helped me to better understand the world and human psychology, and therefore develop my sense of passion for all forms of relationships. I'm a person of growth, and I love to learn and share my learning and my lessons. So along the way, I met wonderful women in my life, and I learned a lot about myself and relationship dynamics. So it is always a bit complex, but it can be wonderful. And we have the right tool. If we have the right tools to move forward, as well as the willingness to work things towards love and harmony, then we have a greater chance of success and wonderful relationships. Right now, I do have an interesting, wonderful relationship. I am right now in an interesting relationship. And as my partner, this woman that I met not too long ago is from a different culture, therefore from Asia. And I lived in Asia also for 3.5 years. But this is also perfect terrain to practice and to practice all the skills and the wonderful learning that I have accumulated over time, communication skills. And we'll talk about today about one topic. This third entity is also something that I practice right every day. But I also have wonderful relationship with my close family, my mother, my sister, my nephew. So this is, like you mentioned before, it's also an area of using our skills. And also in business, you and I, we're practicing all what we are sharing with you and making really growing together. We keep learning. As we uncover different topics, we notice that, oh yeah, that's a topic we need to talk about.
Right.
We're also discovering this, right?
Because we might have different opinions and, to
Different views.
come to a consensus. Yes. Well, now that our viewers know who we are, shall we speak a bit about viewing a relationship as a third entity? I think we have some slides, right?
Exactly. So we're going to share some slides with you. So you don't hesitate to take some notes if you feel like it's the right thing to do. So give me a second and I'm going to share the slides with you immediately. Here we go.
Okay, it's just a couple of sentences maybe to set this up. We can view a relationship like a living entity that needs to be created and nurtured. I'm an entity and we have a person, my partner or whoever else I'm in a relationship with is an entity. And together we create a third entity, our individual relationship.
Yes, so each of us being an entity, what does that mean? Well, we are the accumulation of a variety of things. Our education has shaped us up and we are really conditioned, I would say, to a certain way because of that. We also have our culture that has a big impact on us, where we live, where we come from, which country, which, if it's Asia, Europe, Africa, any continent, well, we learn a whole different set of values. Our experiences. So yeah, like we mentioned before, we lived in different countries. So This has shaped us to become who we are today. And also the partnerships and the relationship we had in the past. So our memories that we have gathered, and some good and some bad, but they're there, they're present, they're all here, and they're part of us, and they have a direct impact on the relationship that we have. That means the trauma, as I mentioned before. So traumas, yes, are big things that is part of us and has an influence. And our teachers. So yes, I totally know that when I tried to learn German at some point when I was younger. Impossible. And then I met this teacher that was so amazing. And I learned German like this. It was so quick because of his style, because of who he is, and because of his approach to life. And he took us on a journey of discovery and things. It made such a difference, you know? And I really keep this so fresh in my mind that even the way I teach today has come from his example. So it does have a real effect on us, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
You're a teacher too, right?
I was a teacher, that's right, an elementary school teacher. And I've had different teachers or facilitators as I was learning different things. And yeah, I've taken things that worked from those experiences as well.
That's right. And then, of course, our spirituality. So our spirituality is a big thing. It has a big influence for some people more than others, but definitely shape our path to who we are. So now, every individual is one, as we mentioned, the accumulation of this. And we're going to talk about what is the land. You know, the land, you can just view it as a land. It's interesting analogy because, you know, when you go to a country, you need a passport, you need a visa. You go and you have to find out about how they eat, how their culture, how they do they, this is like if we go in Latin America, you know, dancing is really important. The type of food is different. You have to acquire a different approach. If you go to Africa, it's a whole different animal. If you go to Asia, it's completely different. So just imagine the human being that you are is all that, is the accumulation of all what you see in a country. You want to speak about the second entity, Angelika?
Yes, you explained that very well, I think. So the second person, of course, again, has their own experiences, their own beliefs, their own education, culture, memories, traumas, and so on. So there's the second land. And now, yes?
So now what is important is to be curious about each other. You know, when we come into a relationship, it's not just about all the feelings only. It's about, you know, remembering that every person is different, and to be respectful of who we are and how we have grown and what accumulation of elements we are, and being very genuine, curious, and empathetic. Develop the empathy to understand, oh, okay, I understand where you come from and why you react like that. Develop the sense of compassion. Now, these words are so important. And being grateful of what the person is and not criticizing or putting down or, you know, just remember to keep your love glasses on. And we talked about these love glasses on, and we talked about the trust circle in one of our talk. And we really encourage you to go and listen to this one, the trust circle or the love circle. It's very interesting. But nevertheless, whether you are in a love relationship or in a work relationship, this applies to both, right? To any type of family relationship or anything, friendship. Just be curious, be aware that we're all different. Even we have lots in common, we're all different. Now, when we come into a relationship, we want to create this famous, or not famous, but this third entity. What does it look like? What is it exactly, this third entity? What's the vision that you create? So we have to remember we are separate individual and we create something in common. And this in common is like, you have needs. Every individual have needs, but what is the need of the third entity. What needs to be uncovered? And then we go into the wants. So what is the want of that third entity? So this is something that Angelika will add more information on, right? To develop, to understand the difference between needs and wants.
Right, because when we were talking about needs and wants a couple of days ago in preparation for this webinar, we realized that we might need a definition for what the difference is. Of course, we all have basic human needs of survival, but beyond that, what needs and wants are there in a relationship? And my suggestion was that if something is a deal breaker, something I cannot do without in a relationship, that would be a need, a personal need. But something that I'm willing to be flexible on or do without is more a want. So do you agree, Patrick?
I totally agree. And so, for example, as an example, you know, I need to live close to nature. So if I meet somebody who is a downtown person and want to be always downtown and doesn't like nature, I don't know if it's going to work. Or a smoker, you know, I'm not a non-smoker and I respect people who smoke, but I cannot be with somebody. So it's a deal breaker. That's a need, or a need for a conversation. You know, I need to be able to have deep conversation. Or if I'm in a corporate environment and I'm with a partner and I have to know what's going on in what we put together. You know, I need to know what's going on with my team. I need to have this clarity and always swim in clear water. So this is a need. And if I don't have this need covered, it's going to be developing some frustration. What about you, Angelika?
Right. And then you mentioned some private or, personal examples as well as professional examples. That's good. Let's take the need for connection, which you mentioned as well with your partner. And I might need my partner to share his thoughts and feelings on a regular basis, because when I'm included in his inner world, I experience the connection I need. And of course, there's other ways of connection as well. There's physical touch, there's spending quality time, there's helping each other and so on. And I might enjoy activities together in that connection. For example, let's say we're playing racket sports together or we're going dancing, but that would be something that I could do without. This is a want, those common activities, rather than a need. While the need for connection is a deal breaker. We need to connect on a regular basis.
Yeah, and from the want perspective also, you know, I want to travel 2 or 3 times a year, but I'm okay if we travel one time, but that's a want. You know, for the third entity relation, that's what I want. Or in a professional setting, I want our team to be number one, and I want to make sure that our team learns and grow and continue to excel. So that's the ideal scenario that we want to create, and we need to share that with the team, so that way people are connected to the same vision.
Right. Okay, so even though I'm jumping back now to private relationships, another need might be I need my partner to be willing to work through challenges, and maybe at work I need my colleague to be willing to work out challenges as well. While how we do that, how we work through that, that's a want. I might have certain wants, certain ideas how I would like to do that, but that's where I'm flexible, where something can be negotiated.
Exactly. Now, all this is a co-creation. So that means everybody puts their work in, okay? So it's like a 50-50, and we have to be, that's why this base that I have under, which is like, you know, being respectful, being genuine, curious, empathetic, compassionate, gratitude, all this is part of this co-creation. If you want to build something, you need to, first, everybody needs to be 50-50, put the work in, like Angelika mentioned before. So important, otherwise it doesn't work, right? And your commitment, you commit. So all that you co-create, it's almost like creating a charter, you know? I call it charter, but you can say, a love list, or you can say a trust list, or you can say whatever you call it. You know, if I go to a charter, so you put it in writing. And the reason why you put it in writing is better because, or I think in my view, is because you can refer to it and you don't forget it, because otherwise it's wishful thinking. But when you have it in writing, you say, okay, that's what we commit to. We commit to co-create, to cover our needs and wants, and we always refer to the vision of what is what want to be done, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point, that you can go back to it.
Exactly. Now, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. It's something that needs to be built on. It's a journey. It's not a destination. So it go step by step. You keep uncovering, and we're going to help you. We are committed to help you in various ways. So we have these workshops that we're putting together. We have webinars. We have like in-person workshops. And we go really deep into all this journey. We want to just today uncover a little bit of a concept, of an understanding, and that can already help you, hopefully. But to go deeper and to have harness the benefit of how to put this together, we invite you to our next workshop. And for that matter, connect on our website. You have our website here below, Angelika's website. Go ahead.
Mine is greendoorrelaxation.net. And there's the blog articles on there. There's lots of information on there, and the workshops will also be posted on there.
Exactly. And you are much more prolific than me in writing. So there is lots. Thank you for that. Yeah, and you can go on her website or your email address, Angelika.
That is greendoorrelaxation@yahoo.ca, or you can, of course, call me as well. It's a North American number. So 1, if necessary, 905-286-9466.
Perfect. And my website is peakpotentialinternational.com, Peak Potential International, as you can see below. You can reach me at patrick@peakpotentialinternational.com, and my phone number, also North America, 1 and then 416-919-8466. You also can see that below. So we thank you for being here, for taking this information. Hope you had good nuggets to move forward. And we hope to see you very soon on our next webinar. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.